My favourite joke about death is Robin Hood is dying. He's weak in his bedroom, dying, and he's got Maid Marian and Friar Tuck next to him. And he says, "Bring me my bow, bring me my favourite arrow. I'm going to fire them out through the window, and wherever my arrow drops, you must promise me that's where you'll bury me." And they say, yeah. So he tries to fire his arrow, and they have to bury him on top of the wardrobe.
That's a taboo because people are terrified of it.
And you never know when it's going to happen.
Death is terrifying. It's terrifying for everybody. It's the scariest thing. It's the scariest thing there is.
I don't think I've ever talked about death in my act.
There's this taboo about saying the word death. We have all these euphemisms for death, don't we? We fudge it. We say we passed or he's gone or whatever. It's very confusing, you know.
My brother and I very seriously talked to our dad about his funeral recently. And that was funny. We just really had a laugh.
So the euphemisms. So what about this one? We lost him in the winter snow. We'll go and have a look for him. He kind of got safari. We're 83, for his sake. She went to sleep 6 months ago. Well, go and get the doctor. It's not normal behaviour. They shouldn't be allowed.
I do think comics, though, have a healthy regard to dying, although it's a sort of facetious healthiness because we're so used to dying on stage, especially early on in your career.
You know, stand-up is just a great way of investigating life and death and the mysteries, the unknowable mysteries of life.
I think comedy should be paired up with death, yeah. You know, we all die.
There's loads of stuff you shouldn't say who's going to die, I would imagine.
I'm feeling a bit tired. Will you take over the driving? That wouldn't be a good thing to say.
You shouldn't do knock-knock jokes. That's. I wouldn't go there. I mean, you wouldn't go knock-knock. Who's there? The Grim. The Grim who?
Probably not, can I have your DVDs? That's probably not the thing to do.
I'd avoid those sort of audience participation jokes with somebody who's on oxygen anyway because they can't really talk very well.
Or when my granny died, one of her neighbours came round and said, "Hello, I'm sorry about your loss, but she had a lava lamp that I was very fond of, and I was wondering what you planned to do with her lava lamp. I can pay you £5 for it."
Funeral going is a sport in Ireland. People love it, particularly in the smaller communities outside Dublin. Everybody turns up.
In the Iranian community, death is something that isn't shied away from.
There's lots of drink, lots of chat, lots of laughing, lots of tea and sandwiches, talk about football and the weather and what a great man he was.
There's a lot of eating and kind of, there's a social element, if you like, and it's okay to cry. It's absolutely fine to cry. In fact, they have sort of professional mourners sometimes to sort of jazz up a funeral.
You know, so there is this notion of the really good send-off. You know, wherever they're going, that's not relevant. But, you know, we'll celebrate their time on this earth and we'll say a proper goodbye.
Well, at my funeral, of course, it's, the whole nation would have a day off work. It would be declared national holiday. So, because obviously the whole world would be weeping.
I would expect quite a large crowd there. World leaders, Roger Moore, I'd like to think would be there, and Zinedine Zidane. That probably won't happen.
I want everyone to be jolly and have a good time and just say, do you remember when he done this or remember when that happened? Because that's what I want.
I think I want my funeral to be quiet because life is very chaotic and it's very me. I would like my funeral to be, right, she's gone, that's nice, and if they want to have a party, have a party.
I want people to have a knees up.
I think it's curtains drawn and howling and maybe some smashing up of items of furniture in the rage and the anguish.
I want to be cremated at Overdale Crematorium in Bolton because I've always joked about it in the act.
I like to be stuffed and mounted on a plinth and kept in the Natural History Museum beside a pheasant.
There's a big sign on the main road. It's a main road in Bolton. As you go down the main road, it says Overdale Crematorium, strictly one way. And that just makes me laugh every time I see it. So I would imagine that as everybody's going in the gates, they'll just point it out and have a laugh at that.
A good death? I don't know, having not experienced it yet.
You do see yourself surrounded by people who love you in a slightly rosy glow, holding your hands in a well-made bed.
My brother and I used to enjoy death scenes in westerns when the cowboys get shot, and they do this kind of like elaborate dying where they just like go like that for a while at the top of a mountain or a hill, and then they fall. So my brother and I used to enjoy doing that.
I think Maurice Gibb died a good death. If what I heard recently is true, that Maurice Gibb was buried with a box set of Father Ted. I hope that's true. For his sake.
The other joke I like is the wife is holding her husband's hand as he dies, and he says to her, darling, I've got to tell you this before I die, I've got to make peace. You know I slept with your sister. And she said, don't you worry yourself at all about that. I know you slept with my sister. That's why I poisoned you. What I would like people to say just after I die is, oh look, he's still moving. I like that.